Okay, this is the Newport Ht70 ventilator that's going to be going on Rescue 31 in place of the ventilator that is on it now. So to start, to turn the ventilator on, flip it around. Down in the right bottom corner is a black switch. Go ahead, turn the switch on. Okay. Also, where the power cord plugs in is on the left side, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Okay, so when you flip the black switch, the please wait screen comes on. You just have to wait for the vent to cycle for it to turn on. Okay, so the screen on the vent is a touch screen, and we also have buttons on the right and left side and on the top. So on the left side we've got manual inflation button, the brightness button to adjust the brightness on the screen, cancel, accept, and up and down arrows to make your selections. Okay, and then we have the alarm silence reset button. Over here is our breath indicator. That tells you each time the patient is receiving a ventilation. Okay, so to start, on the left side of the vent, we've got our air oxygen mixer. It's from 21% up to 100%.
Rescue response.
And that's going to tell you how much oxygen you're giving. So, if you go ahead and you take 100% minus 21% oxygen, which is how much oxygen is in our atmosphere, divide it by 4, gives you 19.75 liters per minute that you're administering to the patient. Okay, so let's start going over our modes here. So we've got assist control mandatory ventilation here down on the left side of the vent. Down on the left hand corner we have synchronized intermittent mandatory ventilation, and we have our spontaneous mode. So just to go through them and review, assist control mandatory ventilation is for a patient that is not breathing, such as in cardiac arrest, or a patient that is also on a vent. They're going to get mandatory ventilations of 12 no matter what. Synchronized intermittent mandatory ventilation, the patient is going to receive mandatory ventilations. If they do take a breath on their own, the vent will come in on the next time breath and administer a ventilation. Then we also have our spontaneous mode. This is for a patient that is breathing on their own, either an emphysema patient, COPD patient, and also a patient having an asthma attack. Okay, so each time you select a setting on the ventilator, you have to hit accept. For instance, if I want the patient to be in spontaneous, or actually assist control mandatory ventilation, in volume control, I have to hit accept. There's also pressure control, which I can put the patient in. So a volume control would be a good for an adult patient, and pressure control would be good for a pediatric patient so you do not cause a pneumothorax. Okay, on the top of the screen we've got start ventilation, check circuit, and activate preset, and we'll go through those. And then we also have the main screen, which it's in, and then the more screen, which has some other settings. If you don't know what the settings are, there's a question mark down the left corner of the screen. Hit the question mark and hit any of the settings, and it will tell you what the setting is and what it means. Okay, then you can go back to your main screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and hook up our circuit here. Okay, so we're going to plug our circuit into the front of the vent. Got our proximal line here with a filter. That goes on the blue hose. The blue proximal line here. And then we have our clear hose. That is our exhalation valve. Okay. Also over here on the bottom of the vent on the right side is a plug-in, and this is for our flow sensor. The flow sensor gives you some added features so that you can monitor flow trigger, exhale volume monitoring, high tidal volume alarm, and the high and low expiratory minute volume alarms. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug this in here. Okay, and then with this vent we also have a HEPA filter. It goes on the circuit, and then our flow sensor, the blue hose, goes towards the patient. There's also an arrow pointing towards a patient, in case you forget. Okay, and then we've got our lung. Alright, so before I decide to ventilate the patient, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a quick circuit check. So to do that, I hit check circuit. Here it says occlude the patient end of the circuit and press accept. So I'm going to put my thumb over the circuit and hit accept. Okay, it says open the patient circuit and push accept, and then it will cycle and check the circuit for any leaks. Okay, so circuit check passed. Press accept to continue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my lung back on here with my filter, with my flow sensor. Okay, everything's tight. Alright, so we've checked our circuit, we've got our start ventilation here, and then we have an activate preset. So what that is we can hit that and we can go in, you can customize presets, and you can also go to the defaults that the vent has. So we have our adult default, so I'm just going to hit that and push accept. Okay, I'm going to go back to my main screen here. So as you can see, I've got a tidal volume of 500 on this vent. It reads 0.50. We've got a respiratory rate of 12, a flow of 30, inspiratory time of 1. I do not have any PEEP turned on, and my P-trig's at 2.0. Okay, with a flow trig of 5.0. Okay, so on this vent, with my PEEP on, we'll give you CPAP. And I'll show you here. So we're in SIMV. With my PEEP on, it'll give you CPAP. Okay, and if I add pressure support, that gives you BiPAP. In spontaneous mode. Okay, so PEEP gives you CPAP. When you add your pressure support, that gives you BiPAP. Okay, so for instance, you could set your PEEP at 10, and you could set your pressure support at 5. Okay, for this class, I'm just going to go to activate, preset, adult default. Okay, so again, my PEEP's turned off, 500 tidal volume, respiratory rate 12. Okay, so we're going to go ahead from here. We can talk about the alarms. To change any alarms, if you're on a call and you have some alarms going off, but you feel like you're within the correct parameters, you can come in here and you can change your alarms and increase them to keep them from going off. So I'm going to go back to my main screen. Okay, so I'm ready to ventilate. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm in assist control mandatory ventilation and volume control, and I'm going to hit start ventilation. Okay, at the top of the vent it says assist control. The settings equal assist control mandatory ventilation volume control, so it tells you what the vent's in. If an alarm were to go off, you can just hit the alarm silence button here. If you feel like, again, you're in the correct parameters, just go into your alarms and adjust the alarm. If you have any questions, hit the question mark. I can hit respiratory rate, and that tells me what it is and what it's used for. Okay, there you go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead now. If you look at the lung here, you can see that it's not maintaining any pressure on exhalation. So I'm gonna go ahead and add PEEP. We'll just go 5 of PEEP. Remember, you have to hit accept. Okay, and you'll see that the lung maintains pressure. Okay, so there you go. That's how you ventilate. Thanks.